Hello, everyone. Happy Thursday. Happy last Thursday of the month, as we're always here then. Happy belated Valentine's Day. Happy early St. Patrick's Day. So I don't think we'll see you again before that holiday. Happy, oh my gosh, it's already 2 months into the year. Where is time flying? And welcome to the next episode of the Pixel Mill webinar series. In today's offering of Microsoft 365 and AI, tap into AI, and slay productivity paranoia. Guys, this is a hot, boiling, steaming, hot topic, and we are so happy to be able to bring this one to you guys. I hope you're going to have a lot of fun today. As always, my name is Michael Wells. I am the customer success manager here at Pixel Mill, and it is always my pleasure to welcome you guys here, to be your host, to be your guy here you can make jokes at, and to be the contractually obligated bald guy with the beard at a tech company. It's what I do best. All right, let's get going. We got a lot of topics to go through today, a lot of content to go through today. So I'm going to breeze through my usual set of whatever and get on going. So let's talk about the agenda today. We're doing the introductions right now. We're going through some housekeeping in just a little bit. We're going to talk about a little AI 101, get you a little intro into what that's all about. We're going to talk about how AI and Microsoft 365 work together. We've got a bunch of demos we're going to show you, and then as always, we save time at the end for Q&A. We'll get to that in a bit. We always save a little bit of time there. Let's move on to the next slide, please. Thank you. All right, so some housekeeping. If you've got questions, please don't hesitate to throw those questions on up there. There is a questions tab. If you're in the desktop app, it is a little pop-out thing. If you're on a browser, I believe it is a little chat bubble with a question mark. Throw your questions on up in there. I will be following along the entire time. I will get your questions in as quickly as I can to our speakers. If for some reason we're not able to get it into to our speakers in that particular moment, as mentioned before, we do leave that time at the end for Q&A to answer your questions. And for some reason we can't get to them at all today, which is very, very rare, we will make sure that we cover your questions in our recap blog post so you get those answers. There's going to be a handout at the end of this, so please keep an eye out on the documents panel. We'll be posting that up at the end of this. The recording and the recap, we will be sending those out by email next week, so keep an eye out for that. There's also going to be a survey at the end. We would appreciate getting your guys' feedback. We are a culture of growth, and we want to make sure that we are presenting you guys information that you're interested in, and that it's being presented to you in a fun, informational, just good way that you are enjoying. So please do let us know how we're doing. All right, next slide, please. Excuse me. All right, so then a little bit about us. So it's been an exciting year. If you guys haven't heard, we have joined forces with the good people at CreoSpark to make one giant company, and we are better together. So we are still the same thing, though. We still plan, design, develop, maintain those beautiful and expertly architected employee experiences using that holistic and humanized digital workspace, powered by, you guessed it, Microsoft 365. Now, we still have our headquarters in Davis. We've now got our sister headquarters in Toronto. We're all over the place, but we're here to do everything that we can, that we've been doing, and take your employee experience to the next level. So it's still, the easy way to say it is, we have so many more things we can offer you guys now. We're a much bigger, better group, and we're excited to keep that conversation going in an expanded fashion. So just to spend a little bit of us that's been going on. But let's get all past that. Let's get to our speakers today. Let's start talking about it. There's some familiar faces to the Pixel Mill webinar series. I'm going to start off first with one you've seen very frequently. He is one of the co-founders of Pixel Mill. He is the chief product officer of both Pixel Mill and CreoSpark. He's a Microsoft regional director. He's a Microsoft MVP. He's a member of the PMP team, and he's a technology community organizer and contributor. His name is Eric Overfield. How you doing today, Eric? Good to have you with us once again. All right, and then next we have, she is our main business analyst and for Pixel Mill and CreoSpark. She is a Microsoft Service Adoption Specialist, a Microsoft Certified Professional. She has worked on over 50 plus intranet projects, and she's passionate about everything under the sun, about helping organizations achieve their digital transformation goals. She is Carolyn Gjerde. Carolyn, how you doing today? Thanks for joining us.
Great, thanks. Happy to be talking about this.
Yeah, this is going to be a fun one today.
Wow, I thought it would have been more than 50. Very cool.
It might be a couple years old. I don't
know. Oh man, well, thank you guys. Thank you so much for being here today. I'm so excited to have you guys here. As always, we're going to start off with a little poll. We like to get an idea of what you guys are here for, what you want to learn about. Give us an idea of what you're doing here. So I'm going to go ahead and launch this poll. You're going to see it pop up on your screen. Which AI interests you the most? ChatGPT, OpenAI, AI Builder, Viva Topics, or what the heck is AI? Are the robots taking over? You know, lots of good options here. There's so many things going into AI, so many different kinds of things you can see here. So please do throw your answers on it. There's lots of good answers already.
There are a couple
Yeah.
of the last one, which is fine. That's kind of our catch-all of like, I
Yeah.
have no idea, but we like having fun. Michael's
To
definitely
be
good at
fair,
that. But
I
this
would
is
have
good.
picked the robots one as well, so I get
I,
it. So
I hear too, but like we are looking for serious because it's like, okay, I
of
actually
course, of
want to enter
course.
myself. But yeah, it's a good one because I look around going, oh my gosh, this is just crazy stuff.
Exactly, exactly. All right, guys, about 5-10 more seconds. Get your answers on up in there, and then we'll show you guys the answers as they are coming in. And thank you to everybody who's gotten your answers in so far. Really appreciate that. We are at 86% of you who have voted. Thank you so much. Appreciate that. Okay, let's go ahead and I'm going to close this poll and I'm going to share the results with you guys. Should be popping up on your screen shortly. So 63% said ChatGPT, which I am not at all surprised to hear about. It
Yeah.
is such a hot topic right now. That's
Yeah.
not surprising at all. 8% said OpenAI, 4% said AI Builder, 13% said Viva Topics, and then 13% of you are like me and our smart Alex said, "What is AI? Are the robots taking over?" So it's still a very good, still a good mix. It is obviously heavily weighted toward ChatGPT, but a good mix of people interested in a lot of different things. You're going to hear about a lot of different things today, so that's great to hear. But with that, I'm going to hand it off to Eric and Carolyn to take it away and get us off and running. So, my friends, take it away.
Excellent. Okay, so definitely, why are we here? That's the whole point, right? I mean, AI's here. That's why we're all good. And my screen's coming through fine, right? I had to close some windows. Perfect. Okay. So I mean, AI, it's all in the news now. This event's happening on Thursday in the end of February 2023 for those on the recording. And not 2 hours ago, there was a tweet jam hosted by a friend and colleague for many years of mine, Christian Buckley, on AI and in general. Really, really fascinating there. And I was all prepped for this, going like, wow, that was really timely. And and my answers were definitely bent towards N55. But it all makes it all fits. And AI, I mean, it's this accelerator that is in the news. We're all hearing about it. And so how are we going to use this in the workplace? And really, how are we going to use this with an M65? What's coming? What's been told publicly that's coming? And what do we see that's already there? And here's the thing. This technology is already in Microsoft 365. Some of this AI has been there for a couple of years now, and it's already there. So it's a really hot topic. It's changing the way we're working. Yes, there's probably way too much hype right now. I'm sure there'll be a medium on where things will come down to. But let's talk about what we can currently do with it today, and how can we leverage this within our job? Because probably all of us within organizations are going to start dealing with, or already are dealing with, AI generated material, content, insights, data, etc., that can help us be more productive in our role. And yeah, so that's kind of what I wanted to go through today, or that's what we wanted to do. And we've got a lot to cover. Those of you who know me know that I like to talk a lot because I have just a lot I would love to share. So we're going to do our best here. We've got 3 major demos. We're going to try to spend most of our time on, because I think that's what you want to see, is this is in action. And you can always then go back to the material later and go back to the recording and try to dig into some more data. So we're going to go through a bunch of stuff. And in each one of them, what we're looking at, or what we want to highlight, is how each of these things in Microsoft 365 can help in different ways, or how we sort of see it help. And the 4 different icons you're going to see, and we'll repeat these as best we can here, is about increasing productivity so that you can focus on the work that is the less mundane, or some of the stuff that can be hard to pull together. So AI can help you do that. So again, you can focus on providing more value in what it is that you're doing. There's also about bringing visibility to your work. Now, those of you who have been joining us last 6 months now, 4 months, we've been talking a lot about the productivity paranoia. And with the hybrid workplace, so many of us are finding ourselves in, and I do believe it's here to stay. I do believe that a lot of companies will require a lot more in work. Today in the news, or recently last 3 to 4 days, Amazon's requiring people to come back, and there's a big groundswell saying, no, let's not do that. Somewhere there's going to be a normal where many of us will be in a hybrid or remote workforce, and bringing visibility to what you're doing to the organization, to your managers, is going to be important, because you're busy, you are working. How can we have AI help us drive some of that? There's a lot of automation and machine learning that AI can help us with, just pulling together data. In our org, and we're not a huge org, we have a lot of data that's hard to pull together. And so how can AI help us pull that together so everyone can be more productive, and also so leaders can make more informed decisions? It's super helpful. And then finally, similar to that, is compiling that data and driving some insights from it. So with that, I'm going to hand this over to Carolyn, because I think a great place to start, what we thought would be, is so what is AI? Like, Yeah, so Carolyn,
Right.
please give us
Yeah.
a
So
quick review.
yes. So a very kind of high level definition. When software or applications make decisions beyond mathematical or logical computations, that's artificial intelligence. And AI can take many forms in software. And lots of things that we do all the time are currently using AI. So when you're doing online shopping and there is a personalized shopping recommendation, that's AI bringing that information into your shopping experience. Spam filters with email. Over time, the spam filters have to kind of learn and kind of understand what email might be spam, and that's using AI. And then Eric said it as well. AI isn't new, and one of our main goals today is to show that Microsoft 365 has been using AI elements for quite a few years, and we're going to be taking a look at where it's at now and where it's going. So Eric, next slide. So basically, this is what we're going to walk through. We're going to look at Microsoft Graph, Syntex, and Viva Topics, and then move into some other applications like AI Builder, Power Virtual Agents, and that's kind of like where we're at now. And then we're going to kind of move into what's on the immediate horizon or what's already being integrated today with ChatGPT, Microsoft 365, Teams Premium, and Bing. And just this quote that Satya gave, I think it was just 2 weeks ago, I think AI is going to reshape pretty much every software category. So over to you, Eric.
Yeah, the Satya Nadella's quote to me is true, and there's a lot of like immediate truth to that. There's a lot of I'm gonna say kind of like hype. It's like, is this all gonna take over the world just now? No, I don't think so. And is this gonna hit Office right now? No, there's some time that's gonna take to do it, and it's not gonna be perfect. But I do believe that basically every software category is gonna start seeing more and more AI components percolate into it. And it's important for us all, primarily a lot of us knowledge workers, to stay up to date with it. So yeah, I'm say this every time. I'm excited about the topic, but that's why we pick the topics. We pick topics that not only you all are telling us about, but the ones that we are excited in. So, okay, I've got 3 that I want to go through right away. Graph, topic, syntax, and I'm going to kind of give it my brief overview and look at them, and then we're going to look at them and see how AI is driving these. And these are 3 features that are in your titles right now. Maybe you don't have the licensing for some of it yet, but this is AI that is driving business decisions, can drive business outcomes right now. Microsoft Graph is a great place to start because it's been around since 2015. And at this core, it has AI that's driving a lot of its data. This is all about compiling data and driving insights. Now, what's interesting about Graph, this is that underlying technology within M365 that pulls together your M365 data. And it's then available, this is kind of the point of it, it's available through a programming model, through an API that Microsoft uses, as well as that we can tap into as well. So I think this is great because it allows all this data that we're generating within M365 to then be surfaceable elsewhere within M365. Decisions can be derived from it, or connections can be derived from it. And Graph does all this work for us, but then it can be surfaced and it can be talked to as well. I mean, you can actually communicate into it and have Graph do things for you, but you can also just pull data out of it. Some things that we're seeing today, some of the components that you're already are seeing within M365, because there's no licensing really for Graph, it's just there. There are some add-on-y things with connectors and whatnot, but Microsoft Search is driven heavily by Graph. And if you want to extend search, and I think this is super important, by the way, where you want index completeness across your org, this is all done through these Graph connectors. And this allows you to just have search, Microsoft Search, really pull together everything. And once it's in Graph, more insights can be derived for you by search itself. And that's one of the things I actually wanted to show was just, hey, look at when we do search, it's already the data that's returned to you before you even do anything is already driven by your usage and your index. And AI behind the scenes is attempting to determine what's most important to you. What are the things you probably will need? not your colleague, but you. That's super cool. Graph is also helping pull together information around like news and documents and people. It's learning from you how you were using M365, how you're using the ecosystem, and attempting to pull together who are you working with the most. These are the people maybe you want to talk to. These are the documents you're most that you've been using the most, and here's things that might be of interest to you. And maybe a colleague recently updated something, so it's going to percolate to the top that this is a document that you might be interested in as well. It's attempting to bring that relevant data to you quicker, and that's all done behind the scenes for you. And what's super cool, as I said, related to this API, and those of you know me, I'm a developer at heart, you have access to a lot of this data as well. It is a work in progress. There is certainly some great things on Graph, and it's been improving really fast, actually. But there's definitely some gaps, and I expect to see some really fun updates over the next couple of years where even more insights can be driven by the data, and then that we have an endpoint that we can go and call and get the data right out of Graph and not have to make those connections ourselves. It does it for us. All right, so I'm going to move on to Syntex, and this is the next interesting one for me, which is about increasing productivity as well as automation, some of those mundane tasks. So Syntex, I have found is not widely known. Maybe you all know it. Maybe some of you are like, oh yeah, we're already using it. But I found that a lot of our clients too, that they have not, this hasn't hit their radar at all. So Microsoft Syntex, it used to be part of, or used to be called SharePoint Syntex. It's basically a content AI. It's a knowledge management system that Microsoft now provides to us that uses intelligent document processing. That's like one of the most important things. And content AI and a lot of machine learning to help organize and transform a lot of our data and to help automate the processing of content. So think about this kind of scenario. I've got 1,000 documents I'm going to add into a document library, or even one document. And it's the same kind of RFPs. And I know I want certain metadata pulled from that and put into site columns so that I can just grab that data. I can grab out who it's for, general description, amounts, due dates, etc. Syntex allows us to create models where we give it, learning documents, like sample documents. We're basically able to say, hey, based on this document, here's what that kind of data might look like, connect it to entities, and then tie a document library to that model. Once we do that, anytime we add a file, a document to that document library, Syntex will start working through and will attempt to pull out and extract that data for you into a knowledge management system. Pretty cool. This is extra licensing that's needed, and I'm not going to go into licensing right now. It's not overly expensive per user, but it is an extra license. But it is super cool. But there's actually a lot more that Syntex provides. That's just one of the big ones, and I'm pretty excited about it. My demo, I'll go through some more stuff. So let's see. Oh yeah, well I guess so. There's more powerful search. So if you are in a document library with Syntex attached to it, you have more powerful search behind it. There's some actually cool annotation as well. So when you're working on a file, you can annotate it, like highlight things with co-authors and whatnot. Yet it doesn't change the underlying document. I think that's super cool. As well as there's some compliancy components that are a part of it too. Oh yeah, there's even translation. I mean, it's just really cool stuff. So that's Syntex. And then, and I got a demo on this, so we'll actually see this in a minute. And then finally, the other one that has a lot of AI behind it is Viva Topics. So Viva Topics is the whole Viva thing. It's all about compiling data and driving insights from it. Okay, so Viva Topics is a Microsoft tool. It is included in the Viva subscription. It does cost more money for it, but what it's doing is, there's outside of your just general M365 license, is using AI to help identify topics within your org. And I've got the sample demo I'm going to show you where, I mean, the AI is able to pull out lots of potential topics. And basically, its graph is analyzing data and looking for commonalities. And it's then able to say, hey, I think that there's this topic here for you. And then someone, we call them librarians, can go in and say, yeah, that's in fact a topic. But what's cool about topics is once a topic is created and published, it has a topic page and it pulls together all the information about that topic, the people, the documents. It's a place where someone could create more, they can post more information on that topic, but then the topic is now findable throughout M365. And the promise here from Microsoft is, let's just take something like Project X as a topic. anytime Project X is referenced in context, say in Teams or in Outlook or on a SharePoint page, and if the viewer has a Viva Topics license, they will get an action card, an action item on that topic right away. So as they're reading it, they don't have to go open up another window and go figure out what's this Project X again. They would get a card that would tell them right away who's involved, what is this, and they can go to the topic page and get a lot more information on it. So AI is helping pull all that together. It's helped surfacing it in the flow of work. Just amazing stuff. So the demo. I told you we were going to go fast, and I am doing my best to stay on time here because there's so much I want to say here. So how I want to show this particular demo is I'm going to go through graph and then topics and syntax. I kind of a little out of order, but it works here. What I wanted to show on graph and search is just the general features you have within SharePoint itself. And although I'm on the SharePoint page, which I don't know about how many SharePoint Home, how many of you use this, something I want to just quickly show is when I click on search, I didn't type anything in. I'm already getting results from SharePoint. Now you probably have seen this, so results from graph, but this is all AI driven. This is the AI through graph is pulling together the information that is important to me. And if you were on the same tenant, logged into your own account, you would see different results. I mean, that's good and sophisticated. It really is. Sure, of course, there's ways that this can be improved, but I mean, it's really good and helpful. Now, I don't have recent news, but recent, because I just don't have news in this test tenant, the CDX that I have, but recent news, that's all AI driven to find out what's important to me. Even my files and what's recent, that's not just literally a list of recent documents, but it's the usage of those, and graph is helping drive that sort of data as well. Let's see, even within SharePoint Home, like, you know, what's recent and whatnot, all of that's being driven by graph, and so much more to show in graph. You could do whole day workshops on this, but graph is already helping us pull together that data now. And I'm not going to go over graph connectors, just in interest in time, but if you want to extend search, graph connectors is how that happens. And then Microsoft can do its magic and go pull that content from your external sources. Very, very cool, very sophisticated.
Eric, real quick, we had a good question come in, but just before you move on too far, for Syntex, can this technology be used as a search engine within a document library? For example, I ask a question, then the technology provides an answer based on the information within the documents. And then I guess it's kind of a 1A, 1B, however you want to look at it. When will Syntex be rolled out?
So Syntex is available now. My next tab will be Syntex. I'm going to pause the question. Let me do topics and then I'll get to Syntex. And then, because then we're going to move on to different topics. So
got it.
Well done. Thank you, because I hadn't noticed the question, so I appreciate you jumping in there. Let me quickly over topics, then I'm going to answer the question kind of in line, and I'll try to specifically talk about it as well. Within Viva Topics and the topic center that you have that you can use, you can see some topics already listed here. But the AI side, what I want to show you is something like, well, okay, so if I type in something like Project X, which I already did in the search, and I go to search results, I can see that search already calls out that I have topics. That's not necessarily AI driven. I mean, it is kind of, because it's search doing a little bit of a magic, but that's not what I consider so cool and exciting. What I find exciting is if I go to the manage topics, I clicked on that upper right, I get a list of all of the suggested topics. You can see them here, these suggested topics. And I can then go ahead and a suggested topic is just that. A librarian still needs to approve it. So don't think the topics is going to go in and just start making topics for you. That's actually scary. I don't want that. I want to make sure I'm getting the right ones. But you can see that in the test tenant I have here, I mean, it was able to find a whole bunch of suggested topics. It tells me how many I have published, but I can then go ahead and actually make topics out of these things. And that is all AI driven and super sophisticated. So having topics, surfacing it in the flow of context, wonderful, great stuff. Don't get me wrong, but I think some really cool aspects of it is that the AI behind the scenes is helping identify the topics within your orgs. So many of you work for orgs, 1,000, 10,000, 100,000 employees. Being able to pull together those topics can be really challenging. Let the AI help you do that, and it can save a lot of time and help you then create a topic based on you don't have to go find them yourself. They've already been found and the data has been pulled together for you. You can then publish them, assign them to people, refine them so that they're more valuable, and help everybody be more productive in the work, because now those topics are surfaceable within the flow of work. We've done long sessions on a lot of these as well. That's I'm going a little fast too. We've got lots of good material if you want to go and learn about the specific ones. There's a blog post on Syntex, which I'm going to hit to next, that we wrote over at careerspark.com that you can learn a lot more cool stuff here. But I want to show you some of, I think, the cool things around this, and we'll get to the searching in a second. So Syntex requires a content center. You need licensing for Syntex. It is available today. And the couple things here, though. One of the big ones around Syntex to me is the models that I talked about. So I'm going to click on models, and I'm going to work on a model I already have, because again, interest in time, I got to go through the high level stuff. The general idea of models is that you provide sample documents. So you got to train your model. You got to teach it what it's going to do. And that's basically going to be over here in the entity extractors. And I'm simplifying, but this is still a lot of the key stuff. So you upload a lot of documents that are just used for training. Then you say, okay, well, based on the trained documents, here's what I want this model to do. All right, so if I go ahead and click on an entity, so I want to be able to pull out a bid amount, an RFP bid amount. So I go through all my training materials and I say, okay, well, in this document, there's nothing here. Great, okay, I mean, that's fine. But let's look at this other one. So this document does have what I'm looking for. And you give it enough examples, enough training documents, and what's a good number? I don't have that number. It might be in documentation. The more the merrier. Probably 50, 100 would be a good place to start. 3 or 5 can be kind of challenging, because you want training documents that do and do not have what it is that you're looking to extract. Big point there. So what you do is you go through your training documents, you tell it how to find the entity, the thing you're looking for, a bid amount or something else. Let me go ahead and why does not go back? There we go. So here, like, company or company overview, those are the things we're trying to extract. Once you have a model, you can then train the model. You can actually tell it to go learn. And then finally, one of the important things to do is say, okay, this model now needs to be applied to these document libraries. What then happens is, so I've applied it to this document library. If we take the example here, it takes a few seconds, a few minutes to get the data out. So I'm just going to show you what happens. I uploaded 4 documents, and a minute or 2 later, Syntex automatically, not that one. It automatically found in those documents these entities, and it pulled it out into the metadata of that document library. Pretty cool. I think it's pretty cool. Okay, someone asked about search. So in search, when you have Syntex enabled, you have this little option here in the upper right-hand corner within search, when you're in the document library, and you get a more sophisticated search experience. Maybe not everything you're looking for, but this is the best answer I have for you on searching for that data outside of the metadata, because the metadata that was extracted is just standard SharePoint metadata. That's metadata that you can just work with. But Syntex does provide a more sophisticated search query experience. All right, I'm going long on this demo, but I still got a few quick things to show because it really is pretty cool. There's something else you can do within Syntex, which is you can create what's called a modern template. Here's the idea of a modern template. Now I'm going to go ahead and I believe it's this RP response. A modern template is you tell it a document, a source document, say like a Word document or something like that. And then you can go through that document and you can say, hey, this area of this document is something that needs to be filled out. What then happens is if I go ahead and create a new RFP response, so this is something that I created, I use one of these documents, I then turn it into a modern template. And now if I create this new Word document, what you should see if this all loads is it's going to ask me for the data that I specified. So one of the things was an amount. If we scroll down, what we'll find is this 140,000. If I change this now to 1 million and I create document, that was just me giving it a name. You'll see that the document automatically had that field filled out for me. It took it. So if you have, name the document, right? You can create a document, and then when it's created, you can request data from the content author, and it will automatically fill out the form based on the data that you provide. You can have all sorts of fields and all sorts of types of data that's expected, like a number or a string or something like that. So super cool what you can do there. And then, so that's that demo. I know that was super fast, but it's called content assembly. Just really cool with these modern templates. Final thing before I hand it over to finish up this demo, hand it over to Carolyn, is about content compliancy. So there's a whole bunch of things you can do around retention labels and sensitivity labels, but also Syntex includes premium taxonomy services. Everyone's ears should just perk up because we all want that, right? We all want to be able to work with content, site columns and content types and push them out. One of the things you can do is you can do a term set import using the, I didn't learn how to properly pronounce this because I haven't done it myself. It's the SKOS based term set. It's one of those systems that people use that it's a format on how you can upload term sets. But here's the thing, you can push enterprise content types to a hub site, and then that can get pushed out. So a lot of you I know want to be able to work with content types or enterprise content types. Syntex is probably going to be your answer. You can also actually get term store reports too with Syntex. So cool stuff you can do. In interest in time, as I always have to do, I'm going to go ahead and hand this over to Carolyn because we got some more cool stuff to show.
Yeah, and I'll be quick. My demos aren't as in depth. So the AI builder. So basically, there are pre-built AI models that can help optimize business processes, and they can help derive insights from your data into Power Apps and Power Automate. But you can go beyond the pre-built models and build custom models that can, get whatever you need. This is integrated both in Azure AI information, and also you can use it in Microsoft Dynamics 365 along with Microsoft 365, and can be powered behind using Dataverse. So we can go to the next slide. Similar in terms of like the Power Platform, and AI Builder is kind of considered part of the Power Platform, is Power Virtual Agents, where you can create chatbots that, yes, you give it specific directions and it looks for keywords, where if somebody types those keywords in using natural language, it will kind of come up with the options that people can use. But the integration with AI is really around kind of making those kind of decisions versus just A or B, and kind of coming up with suggestions. So I'm going to show you really, I think actually there's one more screen just around use cases around Power Virtual Agents. So that one use case is around creating a chatbot on an intranet to allow your team to access resources or help. Another use case would be around maybe service requests or ticketing systems. And another big use case is around HR self-help information. So now what I'm going to show you is kind of an example for each one of those. Let me share my screen. Oh, I guess I need to be present.
I will
I think
there.
Yep. Okay. And hopefully this is here. So how you get to the AI models is in the makepowerapps.com environment. So you're in makepowerapps.com, you go to AI models, and what I wanted to just show is a couple of these pre-built models, just kind of like what it looks like out of the box. So if we look at this entity extraction, and they give us a random sample. So here is a random sample of some text. The Contoso account payment is due by June 1st. So it pulled out the organization Contoso, and it pulled out a date and time. If we click another random sample, it was 85 degrees Fahrenheit yesterday. So it pulled out the, oh, it's talking about temperature here and a date and time. So that is this pre-built model. You can just integrate it into Power Apps or a flow of Power Automate. Another one here that I thought was kind of interesting to look at is the text recognition. So there's a whole bunch of examples here. So here is like handwritten text. It's identifying this is the word sorry, have a nice day, pulling out nutrition information on an image. Here's another one that's of the building. It can't see there's, me as a human, I can kind of see that the W isn't the only letter in there. So it can't, human eye can, we kind of fill in some blanks that the AI isn't filling out, but it's pretty close, right? There's the W tar net CU, and it has the periods here. The other one that was really cool here was here's a streetscape in Japan, and it's pulling out the Japanese characters here. And so that is the extract text from photos and documents. And then one last one is the language detection. So here's a random sample of text, and it can tell from this sentence that it's in Italian. We generate another random sample, it's in French. So some of this work that would, typically would be done by like a team of people to, oh, this document is in French and maybe needs to go to the French site. You can run a model to kind of like say, okay, this is automatically going to go to the whatever is in French. So that is a very, very quick overview of AI models, but just know it's kind of part of the Power Apps section. And for Power Virtual Agents, what I wanted to mostly show was I have a very, very simple bot here. So if I type hi, it's going to, oh, it says I don't have access. Demo fail. Let's see if I can get this to go up and running. It may have timed out. So basically kind of wanted to show you build these, right? You give it direction on what to build. Okay, I'm the virtual agent. I can help you with account questions, information. If you'd like to speak to a human agent, so what can I help you with today? I think I have this for time off. And if I had typed in PTO, it would have also kind of come up with the same sort of thing. So then I typed in time off. Are you looking to schedule time off? If I say yes, it's going to give me certain information. And this is programmed to take me to this page. But so this is kind of like the baseline of creating these chatbots that you can either put in Microsoft Teams, you can embed it into your public facing website, you can embed these into your intranet. But I was going to point out more the AI capabilities around that are already built into Power Virtual Agents, where you can have it create more personalization so that it will, if it asks you for your name, that then it will kind of pull in your name and your information. Topic suggestions is another big one. So it would look through chat histories over time and create suggestions based on what people are searching for. Where in the past, maybe you have to kind of have a person analyze all of those chat transcripts and pick out new topics. It's going to be creating those suggestions. So that is a very, very, very high level overview of that. So I think Eric can go back. I'll stop sharing and can go back to the deck.
All right.
One quick question while we are switching through things. Good question came in about security. How does security work with things like Syntex? This is jumping back to Syntex. I apologize, a little out of order. What if you don't want content from a specific site collection to be discoverable because it's sensitive and should not be widely available?
So I think overall it should have this. So all of these tools will only surface information you have permission to see. So it's going to work the same way whether or not it's wherever that data lives, right? So it's not, think about if the information is shared on SharePoint, you're not going to be able to see it unless you have access to see it. All these tools are going to work the same way. They're not going to override security.
Yeah, I think the question is around the content types, though.
So do you have any insight into that?
Oh, yeah, I totally misread that question. Carolyn is absolutely correct. Everything is security trimmed. So I'm not concerned on that. I was thinking it was more around content types being pushed out. So apologize for that question, my answer that I typed out on that one. Thank you, Carolyn. You clarified it well.
Okay, so now we're moving. So what we've shown are things available currently today. You could be working with them right now. I know like AI Builder is definitely part of the Power Platform. I don't know how how widely it's being used in different apps, but there's definitely something you can do today. What we're kind of moving into now is kind of a combination of some of this stuff is here, but it just arrived within the last 2 weeks or 3 weeks. So this is like brand new things that are here today. So what is OpenAI? OpenAI is a research and development company with a mission to ensure that artificial general intelligence benefit all of humanity. Microsoft has been a major kind of stakeholder in this company, and they've increased their stake in this. So there is more than just one OpenAI product. The one that we keep hearing about most frequently is ChatGPT, but DALL-E 2, where people have been posting all of these AI generated images, either of themselves or of like kind of artwork and things like that, that is also part of OpenAI. Whisper is another component, as well as Codex. Microsoft has announced that they are currently integrating a ChatGPT within the Microsoft ecosystem. I can also see them integrating these other things like Whisper and Codex in the future as well. So we can go to the next slide. So here, a little bit more in depth on ChatGPT. It's a natural language processing model, and I'll show an example of it when we get to the demo part. It's capable of creating any form of written content and can go as far as writing code and complex essays. And what it's not, it doesn't have, it's not HAL from 2001 yet. It can't generate new ideas. And also with the OpenAI's ChatGPT, it's knowledge I think it stopped at the end of 2021. It's not completely current. It had to be trained and learn things. So it's, again, it can't generate new ideas. It can't create strategies, but it can give you, like, I know people have used it to actually say, what are good steps to create a website? What are good steps to create an intranet? And it's going to like give you step 1, step 2, step 3. But it's not going to give you any kind of like things that you have to kind of think about, like that don't fit into certain nice categories. And you can't, I think ChatGPT, it would be a great place to start things like it's a great place to start your project, but it's not going to be your final answer. So let's see. I think we could go to the next slide. So ChatGPT and Microsoft. We can expect there will be some integration coming pretty soon into Word, Outlook, Excel, PowerPoint. We don't know what it looks like yet, but there's going to be some integration. We don't know if it will just be like a tab or if it will make suggestions. One thing that's here right now is if you in Teams is like sometimes there are suggested replies, right? You're doing one-on-one chat with somebody, and at least in our tenant, it pops up. It will with a suggested reply like thanks and things like that. So we might see suggestions show up in things like Word and especially Outlook with suggested replies. Or maybe with Excel, if you're working on something, maybe there would be a suggested formulas and things like that would show up. But we're kind of just speculating on that right now. So what is real is Teams Premium. So Eric's going to talk a bit about that.
Yes, excellent. Okay, so in action, like where do we see ChatGPT or GPT in general in action, or the AI in action? And that's in Teams Premium. So Teams Premium, some of the big things here: compiling data and driving your insights, automation, and productivity. Teams Premium was announced a couple months ago, and it is generally available. This is something that you can now get. The last I checked, it was $10 per month per user extra, I think. Easy of it. You all have different licensing probably anyhow, so you'll want to check with your Microsoft rep or whatnot. Okay, so what is Teams Premium? What's included there? And it's interesting. So it has a lot of the large language models included in it that's powered by GPT 3.5. Now, that's that way it was worded when I was told about it. which to me is, that's ChatGPT is what's powering this whole thing, because OpenAI's GPT 3.5, that's what ChatGPT was based on top of. So it's kind of a lot of that same backend technology, which I think is kind of exciting. It's not ChatGPT directly, because the things you're getting in Teams Premium is not quite the same thing, but still that technology is behind it already today. We're already seeing the OpenAI's GPT in Office. Now I'm excited to see what happens when this is in Word, and I want to be able to write a blog post on Syntex, but I'm looking for a quick outline. I might go to ChatGPT and say, give me a brief overview what Syntex is, and it might create some great initial content. But my opinion is that's going to be worthless for you all. That won't help you at all. It's too generic, because we'll all be able to get to that data. What's going to be interesting now is taking, it's like just some of that base writing and turn it into something meaningful for people. Go beyond the basic stuff you can go look up anyhow, right? You could just Google. You don't have to go to ChatGPT and go Google Microsoft Syntex. You'll get Microsoft's Learn material, and that's what the kind of material ChatGPT is based off of. So anyhow, fascinating stuff. Okay, let's go back to Teams Premium. What's included in here? This one's going to be interesting to me, because I think that, although I wasn't exactly thrilled I had to pay more for it, I think that there's something here. And when I say that Microsoft Premium is like an example of Microsoft actually following their recent motto of do more with less, it's like, well, but I have to pay more money. Yeah, but what you get out of it, especially for the people in your org that typically run meetings or host the meetings, is interesting. So things like intelligent recap, I think this is interesting. So you get an automatically generated meeting notes with recommended tasks and personalized highlights, again, for the people that have the licensing. But that's interesting. So take this scenario. You miss a meeting where lots are double booked. You get a recording of the meeting. The meeting is automatically has notes, to-do lists, auto-assigned to people that could, of course, be adjusted. But I then get a transcript. I can get live translation for it if I so chose to, all included in Teams Premium, or that's the cell here. Okay, but not only that, the meeting is then automatically broken up into chapters, and I'm automatically tagged when I was mentioned. That's really important. That to me is the value of AI actually in today's life, previous to all the stuff we've already talked about, in helping with productivity, is turning meetings into something that's more meaningful and helping create those notes. And $10 per month for a user to be able to get that kind of data, I mean, isn't that almost worth like one meeting a month and you get that data? I almost argue like, wow, that's really sophisticated, because the amount of people power it would take to do that would be insane for every meeting. None of us have. I've not seen an org that has really the time to have someone go and keep breaking up meeting recordings into things. Even if you're in the meeting, like, you can still have the value of that. How many of you were in a meeting 2 months ago and someone says, oh yeah, well, it was in that meeting. What meeting? Where? Well, where was it? You know, someone's gonna have to go find it and find where that was mentioned. And to already have that data broken up for you, I think is just really powerful and really useful. All right, so I wanted to show you sort of some quick things. Now, I have not seen the meeting notes in production yet, so I don't believe this is available, at least globally or GA. Correct me if I'm wrong, someone else, or again, Google it. But last I saw was they've said this is coming, but it's not there. This is the automated notes with the automated follow-up tasks assigned to people and whatnot. My understanding is the live translation is available, which is the next one, which you see is as a meeting is happening, you can have it automatically translated for you, which I think is pretty cool, pretty useful, especially in the multi-geo, multi-global orgs that we all work in. Can help. I mean, and I'm thinking of it that even if I was able to speak that other language, having a translation for me in my native language could be really useful. Even if I understand what they're saying, it could still be really helpful to see it, because you might miss some words or some connotation. And just, I don't know. I think that there's something really interesting here, and the value prop, my gut says, is there. So you all make that decision, but hey, that's AI in practice right now. Okay, with that, our last component, bring it all together for us. And what's in the news, Carolyn? Going back to Bing.
So again, I think it's probably 2 weeks ago, there was a big press conference where there is a new version of Bing that has a tab with ChatGPT, and while I haven't won the Bing lottery on it, it is rolling out. People are using it. And I'll show, I think this is the only slide on Bing, right? I'll go ahead and show my screen. I'm just going to show real quick the difference between, okay, so this is ChatGPT right now. I can access this today. And one of the differences between the ChatGPT and Bing is that you can see it keeps a history of things that I've asked. So just for this thing, for the webinar today, I just asked it, why would I use Power Virtual Agents? It gives a pretty good basic kind of like, here, some important reasons why you'd want to use it. But again, this is like a starting point. It's not something that you would kind of, you wouldn't use it for a presentation or anything. So the other thing that I can show, this is that same slide, is the introduction to the new Bing when you go to bing.com, and anyone here can click on these. I'm not going to click because sometimes it just gives you regular search results, and then other times it shows you what it's going to look like. So I can't do a search here and come up and get Bing, but here's one that is a sample. So write code to find the Fibonacci sequence in Python. So it gives you code that you can go and you can use and you can pull in for something. But couple differences from ChatGPT. One is that it doesn't have the history of everything that I've asked it for. But the other thing is it's it's basically still, it's integrated into search results. So I think what my understanding is, if you're actually in the new experience, it will show you where it got that information from. When you're in ChatGPT, unlike even Wikipedia, you just kind of have to trust that that information is correct, right? So it has a bit more context around where it came up with that information. We can't really see it here in the trial, but or the demo, their demo, but that is apparently kind of like one of the reasons that someone might choose to use the integration with Bing versus using the ChatGPT OpenAI web page itself. So again, I'm going through this really fast. We are really, really tight on time. I'm going to pass it back over. I think it might even be, oh no, it's back to Eric.
Yeah. Okay. Let me. I just did the wrong thing here. Let me go ahead and share my screen. And there we go. So key takeaways. Kind of like, now that we want to sum this up for you, what can you take away that, what do you do with all of this data? Okay, so the way that we thought we would do this, though, is, let me get to the next screen. Why is it not going? There we go. Is look at it from 3 different views, 3 different viewpoints. And by all means, this is not comprehensive. There's a lot more that you can have here, but we want to look at, say, like a frontline worker, an information worker, and a manager. Frontline workers could get a lot of value out of Power Virtual Agents, and also, not only that, though, but they can get data not only to people they might be working with, but they can go and get results. They can go get insights. They can go get things out of Power Virtual Agents, PVAs, that you've created for them, so that they have access to that knowledge in a more easily, readily, and digestible way. And think like they have tech support internally in your org 24/7. I mean, that's pretty cool, and because you don't want people to have to wait necessarily for their one to come online or to be available on Teams or to reply to an email, etc. PVAs can really help with that. I would argue frontline workers could use almost everything we talked about, but that's sort of one of the ones I wanted to highlight. Information workers almost for sure can use everything that we've talked about, but let's think of some specific ones, such as Viva Topics. As you are working with data throughout your org, to have that inline, in context, in the flow of work available access into the important topics, the things that your organization does, and to be able to go get the data on it. Who's, again, the person in charge of Project X? Who's that person over there on that project? And what is it that they're doing? And to be able to get the insights in and to be able to go get those files forward and be able to access all of that information in the flow of work, I think is just really huge and helpful. But then even as an information worker trying to compile all this data across your org, all there for you, super cool. AI builder in Syntex, I mean, geez, information workers have to work with information, and to automate and supplement their work and to help create the tools to help automate some of those mundane tasks of getting the data out can really help people unlock their potential and unlock more potential within what they can help provide to the organization. So much you can do. Lastly, what I wanted to do here was kind of think through the manager side, and again, so much you can get here. A lot of, to me, on the management side is about getting insights as to what's going on. And if you think about from the employee's perspective, is you want to show what it is that you're doing because of the whole productivity paranoia that's happening. Now, as a business owner, as a manager myself, I do take a lot of responsibility in this. I think that someone's not being productive, there's probably a lot of it is me, that I'm not asking the right questions or not leading properly. So that's a fair response that many of you could have, but it still does go both ways. But managers want to be able to understand what's happening and be able to help bring visibility to the work within their org as well. I mean, think of this as a multi-directional thing. A manager wants to be able to show what their team is doing up to their leadership and managers. So being able to get the data out is super powerful, but look at the AI driven behind PVAs, power virtual agents, and we didn't show this in great detail, but there's a lot of analytics that's provided as to what are people asking and what's being replied to them, and you can help get more data to your users that are asking these questions, or even if you make it public to your customers or clients or people that work with you. Just impressive. Viva Topics, AI builder to help save time and resources. That's a big one for managers. Helping remove a lot of the mundane tasks, those repetitive tasks can be automated, is just huge. I mean, AI is there, it's within our orgs, it is extremely powerful, and it should only be growing. So yeah, we're running out of time. So what I thought we would do, because I want to quickly see if we had some great questions come in. Michael, over to you. We had one more poll for you, and then we'll do our 30-second wrap up.
Exactly. Thank you so much, guys. Appreciate it. All right, so going over to one more poll, launch it for you guys now. Which AI components do you now want to try first? ChatGPT, OpenAI, AI Builder, Viva Topics, or the robots will never catch me? Could go either way. Anyway, let us know what you're thinking. Excited to see how you guys are feeling after hearing all these things now. So much cool information out there, so many cool pieces to the AI puzzle, so to speak. Yeah, lots of fun. Okay, lots of fun answers coming in. Appreciate it, guys. Appreciate it.
Now, while that's happening, though, Carolyn, a question came in from Andy. Completely agree with you not being able to see where info comes from, so I recommend using web ChatGPT. Okay. Oh, yeah, okay, that's not really a question. This lets you turn on the ability to see where ChatGPT gets its answer from. I'm going to quickly answer that in my view. I completely agree. I think ChatGPT is really fascinating, but I don't, as I was saying to someone else, George Carlin taught me this one, don't trust anything from anybody. I don't trust the data. Like, even if I said, hey, ChatGPT, how do I use Syntex? I don't trust the data. Like, I don't trust the response, excuse me. I'm going to want the resources so I can go kind of validate that it is what I want and then turn it into my own document, because I'm not going to trust the AI generated content. So great. Thank you for sharing that, though. Web Chat GPT. Thank you.
All right, the results of our poll, 26% of you said ChatGPT, 11% said OpenAI, 32% said AI Builder, 16% said Viva Topics, and of course 16% of you are my best friends who said the robots will never catch me. I appreciate you all. A very good mix of things you all are interested in seeing coming up. I love it. It's great.
Yeah, I saw the AI Builder move up after that talk, so yay.
Nice. Good job, guys. Good job. All right, we can close.
So we've got resources. If you hand it to me, so that slide, we've got resources. Michael, I'll let you do the wrap up here because we're out of time. Our web giveaway and stuff. But I'm going to say, and Carolyn, I'm sure speaking for you, thank you all for joining us. Wonderful times. Let's wrap it up, Michael.
Yeah. Okay, so there is that that resources handout. I've dropped it into the handouts tab, handouts or documents tab. I forget what it is called, but please grab that, check that out. Just a bunch of resources from the stuff we've talked about today. Thank you to our team for putting that together for us. Right, and then we always do our a little survey giveaway when we do our webinars. So follow that link, follow that QR code. It'll take you to a survey about today's session. Give us some feedback. Let us know what worked, what didn't work, what you'd like to see, maybe a topic you'd like to see in the future. Like I said before, we are a culture of growth, and we like to make sure that we are always putting out the best content. So let us know how the session went for you and all that. And if you do that, you're entered to win a $50 Amazon gift card. And we do these drawings every month. We do them live because that's the best way to do it, right? So this is from our last month, actually, our Hidden Gems session. So the winner, we do this so it doesn't look like I'm looking in there. Our winner from last month is, he's got a great first name, Michael Kosariu, I believe is how you pronounce your last name. We'll have it right there so people can see it. Michael, you can see your name on YouTube later on. Congratulations, Michael, for winning our drawing from last month. I'll be reaching out to you later on to get that gift card to you. So that's it for us, guys. A quick little plug for our next session next month. We'll be going over Viva Connection with Viva Engage. They're kind of the two most understood modules of the Viva menu, so to speak, and we're here to tell you about how they work really well together. They are also powerful by themselves, so they are a very strong team. And you'll be leaving this session with a good understanding of both of them, how they work together, how they can impact your digital workspace. It's going to be a phenomenal session. We'll have more information about that session coming out soon. So with that, thank you so much, everybody, for joining us today. Eric, Carolyn, thank you so much for an amazing session. I can't tell you how excited I was to get to have this session be part of our Rolodex of sessions we have that we can offer people. So thank you, guys. This is such a phenomenal session. I appreciate it. Everyone, thank you so much for joining us today. Have a great rest of your Thursday, a great rest of your month. Have a great weekend, and we will see you all down the road. Take it easy, everybody.
Bye, everybody. Thank you.
Bye, thanks.